Jack Andrews here. Thank you for checking out this episode of my webcast. This one was 5 ways to work smarter, not harder. If you like this video, feel free to subscribe and set the notification so you can be notified next time I go live. Thank you and enjoy. So teamwork is building on a concept I introduced in our first webcast together, where I said that this downtime was a good chance to network with other people. This is a good application of that networking. If you can find like minds that are doing like things, then you can leverage that to work smarter. There's a quote there from a friend who is one of the top DFS players in the world, and I don't disagree with a word of it. Having a good teammate is an incredible way to boost your career while lessening your load. Here's a key point right up front about teamwork, though. It doesn't have to be about sharing the recipe to the secret sauce. Some of the best teamwork I do is with people where I'm just comparing my plays to theirs. Often this is done hours after the bets are made or even after the games are played. What I'm looking for are times when my plays correlate with their plays for uncorrelated reasons. Likewise, I want to know when they're on the opposite side of a game than me because maybe there's something there that I've missed. Teamwork can involve division of labor. Different people have different strengths. So for instance, let's take the 3 points we've already covered. If you had someone whose purpose was to look ahead and scout angles, he can provide value to someone who has the skill of automating tasks. And he can provide value to someone who identifies derivative plays. And sharing all that information together produces economies of scale that enable everyone on that team to work more efficiently. Personally, I'm a bit of a lone wolf for myself. I bet for myself. I develop my own angles, which I keep close to the vest. This enables me to keep 100% of my profits and work with a leaner overhead. However, I have numerous people that I'm in constant contact with, exchanging information and experience. There's no way I can expect to make a long-term profit if not for some level of information sharing between myself and other bettors. If I ever reach a point where I can no longer effectively lone wolf in this industry, having teammates will be invaluable to the art of getting money down. When you rely on a teammate, in any sense, you instantly have created a scale to your operation. If the market has more inefficiency than you're able to take advantage of, utilizing a trusted teammate is a great way to take advantage of that. So the final tip that ties this all together is a definite way to work smarter, not harder, and that is to outsource. So outsourcing is letting someone else handle the tasks that you don't have time to tackle. If your time is too valuable to you and you can explicitly explain what you're looking for to have done, outsourcing can be a huge boost. A very successful AP I know provided me with the quote there, which sums up his approach to a lot of things. If it's only $25 an hour to pay an expert to write some code, then he'd rather just let that expert do it than learn how to do it himself. It's like paying a landscaper to make your yard look really good. You could definitely do that if you had the time, but perhaps it's not a task worth learning to you. So that's my friend Lee Jensen. He's on Twitter at LeeJensenBJ. He's another good follow for anyone that's interested. But here's why I positioned this tip last, because it applies to everything we've covered so far. And you can outsource the task of looking ahead. You can outsource the task related to automation. You can outsource programming that would help you analyze derivative situations. You can outsource tasks that perhaps you haven't found a teammate to assist you with. Now, when I talk outsourcing, I'm talking about generally paying someone else to do the work for you. There are numerous services on the internet where freelancers bid to do the work that you've spec'd out. Here's the biggest caution, though. You're generally not hiring a sports bettor. You may not even be hiring someone who watches sports or has any idea about the sport you're looking at. They might not have even seen the sport that you're looking to get programming work done. You need to be able to be very clear about what you want done. If you want someone to code a program that will track a baseball game and let you know via text message when a scenario fits your criteria, such as the program I described earlier, you should have the ability to specify what language you want this program in, what information it needs to query, what algorithms it uses to apply the logic, what information it relays to you, what information the text message relays to you, how it contacts you, how frequently it checks, so on. You basically need to be able to write this program without actually writing this program. You're providing the programmer with all of the logic that they're going to need to code this. Don't expect to say you are comparing a pitcher's xFIP to a batter's WOBA and expect any freelancer to know what that even means, nor will they attempt to figure it out. There are a few different popular outsourcing sites. Upwork seems to be the most popular these days. Fiverr has gained some popularity because it can start as low as $5, but honestly, putting together an effective task is going to run much higher than that. I list Guru here because it has the fewest foreign freelancers of any of the popular services. You're more likely to get someone who is at least familiar with US sports on Guru than the others. Now, your mileage is definitely going to vary when you use these sites for your outsourcing work. Sometimes it's easier just to put a request out there into sports betting circles like Twitter, asking for someone who's willing to help out with a project. It's up to you and that person to discover a fair compensation scale for the two of you, but it's often an easier way to get past the barriers of being able to translate exactly what you're looking to accomplish with this work. So when you get to the point where you can effectively outsource, congratulations. You're well on your way. You probably already are starting to run an effective, efficient sports betting business, and hopefully you are working smarter and not harder. And let's recap some of the things we went over today. So first, we talked about looking ahead, being able to look at the schedule and map out what you're going to be betting on, how you're going to be using your time. It's a very key resource to using your time more efficiently. Secondly, we talked about automation, and that is a key cornerstone of any sports betting, is to be able to automate tasks so that, again, you can make efficient use of your time. Then we talked about shortening the game, being able to narrow your focus and look for things that possibly require less time to handicap so that you can come up with better solutions that can make the betting go quicker. Then we talked about teamwork, being able to leverage other people's skills and other people's opinions to help sharpen your own, and again, use your time wisely. And then tying it all together, we talked about outsourcing so that you can, if need be, hire someone to take care of these tasks, which is the ultimate way of freeing up your time and using it more efficiently. So finally, there is one more piece of advice I received from a good friend that didn't necessarily fit into any of these other tips, but it was too good to leave out. And that's a quote here from Rufus. And he said, either be working or not working. So when you're working, you make it your sole focus to just be working. Don't try to work with the television on. Don't try to work with Twitter in the background. That's one I've had to learn. When you're working, be working. When you're not working, don't be working. Don't be thinking about work. Use that as the rest of your time. So it's a great point and probably the best way to work smarter and control the number of hours you spend at this. And it speaks also to finding that balance. We talked about it at the top of the hour. We talked about it in our first webcast together. But it's all a key component to being a better sports bettor. So in fact, I got such good tips this week from Rufus and Spanky and others that I've actually invited Rufus and Spanky to be on next week's webcast. So we're going to do something a little different. I think it's very neat, very original. Next Friday, there's going to be the three of us, Rufus, Spanky, and I, three professional bettors, all three of us on video. We're going to be talking about a variety of topics, taking a lot more questions from anyone that has them. And if you want to stop in and watch next Friday, I think it's going to be a good time. I've hung out with both of these guys. It's always a lot of fun. I look forward to that next week. So that does it for today's presentation. We're going to move in now into our Q&A section.